Meanwhile, the old man keeps glancing sideways while Swan grows restless. She had never seen a second-generation rich spend money so casually. Chinfin is convinced that for the boy to throw cash around like this, he must have hundreds of millions or more. Then the bald man snaps, "Hey, stop staring at that kid. Go sign the contract already. I'll buy the car for you. You'll be happy." But she refuses again, saying she has a company meeting to attend. The old man storms off in anger, warning she'll end up blacklisted by every company. Before she can react, someone calls out to her. Out of nowhere, it's the protagonist, saying he overheard the talk about the investment she missed and that she doesn't need to worry. If the old man won't invest, then he will. The poor girl is a bit confused. She doesn't even know who this guy is. Honestly, I'd be scared too. Still, she's certain that financially he can stand up to President Huang. On the other hand, she makes it clear she's not willing to sleep with anyone. Even so, she's excited, bouncing around as she asks for our boy's WeChat, saying they'll talk tomorrow. He agrees, and they exchange contacts. Then the protagonist asks when he'll get the car, and the old man explains it will take at least a year. That's the minimum. The fool Zhang Chong blurts out that he's just a poor guy who made money, not realizing the car would take so long. Now he's crooked with frustration, realizing he'll be stranded. At that moment, Chinfin, still suspicious, mentions there's going to be a show of imported foreign brands, and they can check it out together. Later that night, the scene shifts to the Renhe restaurant. Xiao arrives dressed up like a Christmas present. "Girl, why are you wearing so many random pieces? You look like an RPG doll." He leads her to the table, supposedly serving the most expensive dishes. Yet the tough guy says the only thing he wants to taste is sitting right there. She asks for a pause, then suddenly plants a kiss on his cheek. At that moment, Zhang Chen makes his move, boldly sitting down and immediately bringing up another woman. He asks if she knows Swan, explaining that she's an artist working at the same company. But did he like her? The protagonist firmly replies that's not the case. He only sees potential in the girl. What does she think of her? Xia Xiao, now looking cuter from a more conservative angle, says the company doesn't pay much attention, but she has a real chance to grow. Oh wow. She even tells our boy he doesn't need to hide it. If he likes her, she can help. She doesn't mind. But he gently tells her to stop being silly. More than anything, he wants to treat her well. Xia Xiao asks if he's planning to invest in this woman. He says yes, he wants to put funds into her project. Xiao Xiao explains that not only will he have to pay a penalty, but he'll also need to establish his own company. And as a true protagonist, he's already planning to put Xia Xia in charge, letting her handle everything. He knows that with enough money to back the company through the system, all he needs is someone talented to lead, and it will succeed. Xiao insists she doesn't want to be a shareholder, just a normal salary is enough. She'll only manage operations. But then she changes her mind, saying there's no way she'll handle everything without shares. She wants to work hard and earn money. Poor girl, though, is acting like a fool, all emotional, thinking he's some kind of angel. While she's caught up in her feelings, her phone rings. It must be Wan Wan calling the boy to action. The next day, the fierce one steps into the car. She pulls that thing out from behind, and our boy immediately asks where they're headed. It's the Lujiaoi Hotel, and soon they arrive at the restaurant. He asks what kind of story they're planning. Was it something big? She replies it's an incredible drama. The total investment was 5 million. The protagonist, however, isn't very impressed. 5 million wouldn't be enough to create something truly remarkable these days. She explains it's a small production, so costs must be reduced, and the most important factor is the story itself. She asks if he wants to look at the script, but he declines, saying he's only here to discuss investments. She finds it odd that he doesn't even want to see the script, but he insists he's ready to invest now. Still, he sets one condition. She must sign an exclusivity contract with his company. She argues that doesn't make sense. She's still a mediocre artist, and he would have to pay the penalty. The protagonist calmly replies that's not an issue. Yet Swan is already thinking that what he really wants is something else. She isn't some innocent, naive girl. She knows exactly that he's trying to kill two birds with one stone, gaining both an actress and a companion. but she shakes her head firmly, saying no way. She has stayed faithful all these years and won't lose that now. She asks what entertainment company he owns. He admits he hasn't built it yet, but soon it will be ready. He also mentions talking to Shia Shah, who confessed she wasn't valued where she worked. Now the sly one smiles, curious about the special requirements. Friendship sits at 50. The protagonist knows that 50 is basically the same as being strangers. If he asks for her best, she might agree, but not because she truly wants to, and for him, that wouldn't be fun. So he explains that if she becomes an artist in his company, he won't ask her for any inappropriate favors. Suddenly, the girl grows overly excited. With their friendship rising, she asks if she can call him boss. He laughs, saying boss is too much, just call him big brother. The conversation continues, and he completes the mission of hiring her, receiving 20% of the shares of an investment company called Hench. The system confirms everything was done legally, and if he wants, he can even check the files. The crazy guy thinks that now he finally has a way to explain to his father how he became so rich. Honestly, showing a document of what you bought doesn't explain much, but fine. He calls his father, tells the little story, that he invested in this company, it grew, and now he'll earn a monthly income of over $600,000. The mother is there with the hula hoop, telling the old man to get ready because the son is about to surpass him. Meanwhile, the protagonist already asks if they'd like a small gift, something he'll bring for both. But now, in these stories, families are portrayed as kind, so they don't ask for anything. In this moment, the protagonist invites Swan out. She replies she'll go wherever the sugar daddy wants. He says he's just going to check out some pieces. Soon, they're in a watch store. The motto there is, no one buys a luxury watch. You simply keep it safe for the next generation. Wow, the rich guy. Such a fool. Our boy arrives, and as always, there's an old man with a glamorous girl at his side, flaunting desire. It seems someone recognizes Miss Swan, who explains she's accompanying a friend who came to look at the watches. But the friend with the green headband thinks she's being foolish. There are countless handsome men in the entertainment industry. Why waste time on someone like that instead of finding a rich guy? Oh, girl, your stockings are torn, my daughter. Clearly, your financial situation isn't great. The crazy one. The girl has 78 old friends. What's up, warrior? Working overtime, and her friendship with our boy is only at 20%. At this point, the old man asks Rue who this junior is, and she replies it's just a random girl acting in a small, unknown drama. The man then introduces himself as Wong Hai, claiming he's an investor in the film industry, and if she's interested, she only needs to take his card. Swan, however, knows the girl in the background is an actress far beneath her level. Yet she manages in the industry because she relies on other means to keep her acting career alive. She simply thanks him for the card to avoid further talk and walks away. Meanwhile, the shopkeeper asks what kind of watch our boy is looking for. The protagonist is there to buy a watch for his mother. The man offers one for $380,000, which he considers cheap, since a proper one should be at least $500,000. Rue listens from the side, wondering what kind of person calls a $380,000 watch cheap. Swan, meanwhile, is laughing at the fool who tried to humiliate her. The protagonist asks if Swan wants a watch, but she says no, she doesn't have money to buy one. Obviously not. Yet she says the perfect phrase for the system to trigger a mission, buy her a watch, and right away, he tells her that if she wants, he'll gift her one. She insists, no way. She prefers to earn the money and buy it herself. Outside, the friend watches, thinking this girl is an idiot. Besides, the guy is clearly showing off in front of everyone. He'll probably look at several watches and leave without buying. Meanwhile, the shopkeeper slips the watches onto our boy's wrist, saying he looks really handsome. She adjusts the fit, and he replies, perfect. I like it nice and tight. This guy is a real oddball. Hey, you strange one, stop with those jokes back and forth. The protagonist, however, notices the friendship level has risen. Still, this one doesn't seem quite right in the head. He tells the shopkeeper to prepare both watches. The man is left in shock, while the girl, who has already defeated 6 football teams, is suddenly nervous. Apparently, the guy really wasn't just showing off. He had money. Meanwhile, the protagonist asks Swan to check out the women's watches and pick two. The clerk shows one covered in diamonds, flashy at 150,000. She slips it on her wrist, dazzled, but tries to be modest and asks for one priced at 380,000 instead. Even so, the protagonist immediately tells him to charge both to the card. He wants them too. Swan is giddy, touching her wrist and thanking him, though she says she shouldn't walk around with something so expensive. He reassures her not to worry, since she'll earn plenty for him. Still, she hesitates, saying it's better if he gives both to his mother, but he insists the one on her wrist only suits a young woman. They would laugh at his mother if she went out wearing something like that. He asks if she's really going to refuse, and she hesitates, not knowing what to say, but finally agrees. Truly, he was a generous boss. Meanwhile, the clerk returns with the card, confirming the payment has been approved, while Rue is fuming with anger. How could a girl like Swan end up with a watch better than hers on her wrist? Obviously, the old man hesitates, asking for a model he knows doesn't exist before leaving. He mutters, "It's a shame it's not available. We'll come back later." The seller then asks if Miss Linrue wants to leave a reservation or look at another piece, but clearly she doesn't have the money. She simply says they'll talk later. Meanwhile, the protagonist completes the mission, receiving triple cash back. Wow, the boy is really spending. At the bag store, it's the same routine. He walks in, takes a look, and says, "I'll take it." Instantly, the clerk is impressed, declaring them VIP customers. The sly one is trembling. Later that night, they arrive at Swan's house, where she naturally offers him a glass of water. But he plays the game, saying it's dangerous to go upstairs since something might happen. Wow, and she actually leaves, thinking as he walks away. It was the villain's tactic. He refused, and now she's disappointed, wondering if he truly wasn't interested. What's this, my girl? What position are you imagining, my god? The artist. Come on, calm down, my dude. This isn't a gym floor. Do you think you're at the Olympics? Arriving home, the maid is waiting for our boy, who as always is swimming while she stands there holding the towel like a fool. She's impressed, because in all her years working there, it's rare for anyone to stay in those VIP rooms for more than 2 days, yet he seems set to remain for a week. Naturally, she has to provide impeccable service. Meanwhile, the protagonist asks what's unique and special to eat in that place. She explains the hotel offers Chinese, Italian, French, and Japanese cuisine, all the finest. There's even a golden fish with truffles from who knows where. He thanks her, apparently wants that, but also requests a massage. And here it begins. I'm already nervous. This boy is always in those crooked bird-patterned underwear. The poor guy thought the massage would be simple, but gravity had other plans. On top of that, there were aromatherapy scents, and he's impressed while the attendant tells him to just sit back and relax. The protagonist, however, is confused, wondering if this is part of the package or if something else is happening. Oh, wow. Maybe the service wasn't as complete as he imagined. She tells him she'll wait for him tomorrow because she's taking him to the car meet. Honestly, it seems everything was normal. He realizes his imagination went too far. The next day, we're at a car event, and for heaven's sake, our protagonist is wearing the most awful outfit I've ever seen. What a terrible tie that is. And it seems Chinfin, the clueless blonde with the protagonist, didn't show up at the last minute. Still, it's not like he needed that guy to spend money, so he goes on to check everything himself. The only issue is that the cars are below his expectations. The most expensive one so far was $2.22 million. Then he notices a crowd gathered around a car and decides to take a look. But when he gets closer, the real attraction isn't the car, it's Zhou Ying, the girl from the plane. Wait, wasn't she the innocent student focused on her studies? What is she doing here? And of course, there's a simp hovering, asking when her shift ends and promising to take her on a date. His friend quickly warns him not to bother, saying she thinks she's too good for everyone there. Zhou Ying looks uncertain how to respond when the protagonist arrives. It's his old school friends, and he wants to know what kind of school gathering this is that no one invited him to. One of the guys says they didn't think he would come, and the protagonist asks if he wasn't supposed to show up. In truth, one of them is thinking they deliberately used another group so he wouldn't find out. So, what is he doing here? The guys whisper off to the side while the girls wonder what happened. It hasn't been long since they last saw him, but he already looks even more handsome. Did he go to Shanghai for surgery? The poor guy mentions the green hair, saying the kid looks better but still doesn't compare. Jinang laughs and asks, "So, what is everyone doing here? Did they come to buy a car?" The girl in the clown dress scoffs. "No way." As if they had money for that. They only bumped into some friends at the entrance and came to snap a few pictures. This was because they discovered Zhou Ying, their former classmate, was there, so everyone got curious. Then the protagonist notices something surprising. His friend who just graduated already had 30 past connections, and her friendship count was at 90, meaning it would be easy. The girl with purple hair only had 2 past friends, yet her friendship count was 75. Wow, but she looks more like 85. Good heavens, these metrics are really off. He'd say she's closer to 60, or maybe she's hiding something special. Who knows? Still, the protagonist wonders why these girls' friendship counts are so high. They never liked him, nor did they even talk to him back in class. The orange-haired girl asks what he's tripping on, wondering what he's even doing there. But the protagonist ignores her and greets Zhou Ying, telling her she looks even more beautiful than that day. She leans in, curious if he came to check out the cars too. He says yes, he's looking to buy one. His friend beside him scoffs, telling him to wake up. This is the same guy who used to ride an electric scooter to school, now talking about buying a supercar. The class president starts listing car prices, and the protagonist congratulates him, saying he really knows his supercars. But then he adds it's a shame he doesn't buy one. Wow, that was ungrateful. He dissed the guy right there. Even Zhou Ying tells them to step aside since they're disrupting her work. They're stirring up a crowd, all talking at once. Out of nowhere, he covers his face and says he came to look for a car because his family promised it as a gift for scoring well on the university exam. She, a bit awkward, tells him to ask other women since she doesn't know anything about cars. But the boy is relentless, insisting he feels better learning everything from her. Jiang tries to step in, saying, "Come on, buddy. She already said she doesn't understand. Or are you just here to chat with the goddess?" The guy snaps back, telling Jiang to stop meddling, calling him a nuisance. Then the protagonist jokes, asking if buying the car means the model comes with it. Zhou Ying laughs, telling him to quit with the jokes, and the friend agrees, as if he had money for that. Suddenly, her manager arrives, scolding her, saying she doesn't earn 2,000 a day just to chat with a friend. Poor girl, she got reprimanded. The protagonist still says, "Wow, Zudong, you were talking to the girl and made her suffer at work. How irresponsible." Then he tells the dealer the car isn't that great, but the model made it look good, and asks if she comes with it. The boss glances at his watch and replies that the vehicle definitely comes with protective paint for the film. I don't know what the double meaning was there, but our boy simply says to charge it to the card. His school friends are shocked, wondering if he's lost his mind and is about to embarrass himself, like he had 8 million to spend. Meanwhile, the body collector is already trembling with excitement, while Li Shuang warns Zhongcheng to stop acting so arrogant. Otherwise, he'll embarrass himself and cause Zhou Ying to lose her job. The protagonist declares he's buying the car specifically because of her. She's the one who will benefit. The boss agrees, noting that if the boy really makes the purchase, the commission goes to Zhou Ying. Whoa, her friendship level is already at 82. Things are escalating fast, and Zhuang wonders if the kid is about to pull the legendary trick of, "Oops, my card is frozen. I'll call someone and disappear." But the protagonist simply tells the boss to charge the card quickly since he's in a hurry. The transaction goes through, and the dealer praises him, promising to prepare the paperwork and asking Zhou Ying to look after him. Sudong is baffled. How did this guy suddenly drop 8 million like that? The green-haired one is in disbelief, realizing the kid had been keeping a low profile at school. Meanwhile, another girl's friendship level hits 95, and she's already rushing off to the bathroom to change clothes. She offers to get in the car, but the purple-haired guy points out it's a 2-seater, so there's no room for her. Still, the 95 girl insists that Jo Ying has to return to work and sell more cars. The protagonist, however, is puzzled by why his friendship with this girl keeps rising. She really was strange. He takes the chance to tease her, saying only Jo Ying would truly look good in that car. The girl then remarks that she heard the protagonist broke up with Xiaojia, and apparently Jo Ying was the one who stole him. Her plan now is to stir discomfort between them. Jo Ying, however, seems intrigued by this information, since she thought the protagonist was still with Xiaojia. Zhang quickly deflects, saying the breakup with Xiaojia has nothing to do with Dear Jo, though he admits any guy would go crazy for her. Then the friend notices his watch and says something doesn't add up. Was he just pretending back in school? The protagonist explains he was living quietly, but now that he's finished, his parents decided to reward him and he couldn't resist. Zudong tells the group it's better to leave since there's nothing more to see. Yet the mischievous 95 girl insists, inviting him to dinner later. The protagonist declines, saying they can talk when he's in Hongchang. She gets excited, reminding him he has her number and just needs to call. Apparently, that's the city he used to live in, though it's one he probably shouldn't return to. Whoa. The protagonist then tells Jo Ying to get back to work while he looks around. She thanks him, but he asks her not to be so formal since they're still classmates. Suddenly, he passes by a red car, and another girl approaches, eager to make a sale. How so? The boy already imagines himself inside with Xia Xiao. He really is odd. This guy, too, I'd say he has a peculiar soul. The woman explains the price is 9.5 million, but she tries her sales tactics, promising years of maintenance and extras. He simply tells her to charge it to the card. On top of that, he requests a delivery ceremony, probably planning to send it to Xia Xia in some spectacular way. The woman assures him that's the least of it. He can choose everything, and the delivery will be exactly as he wants. While they're talking, a girl suddenly starts streaming from inside the car, saying the shiny red exudes feminine charm, and asking if any of the bros watching the live are interested in buying. The guys in the live chat say the car isn't that impressive, but she insists any girl who gets it would fall in love. Out of nowhere, she puts our boy on her stream, telling viewers they can trust him. He bought it and will definitely do well. If they hit 3,000 likes, she'll interview him and he'll share his thoughts on the car. Whoa. But then the seller steps in, asking if she's there to buy or just to cause trouble. Poor girl gets scolded and looks confused, saying she only came to take a look. The seller presses her to either keep her distance or prove she has the funds to buy. She stammers, pointing out she saw the kid get into the car. The other girl explains, "Right, he bought it. That's why." In the live, the viewers pity her clown makeup, while Jo Ying is stunned, unable to believe the protagonist really dropped 20 million just like that. 2 hours later, the protagonist stretches. At last, all the papers are signed and the dealer hands over the keys. The system had even selected his license plate. Immediately, the plate is delivered and installed, leaving the seller confused. Shocked that it still carried the initials JC, Jiang Cheng, the man realizes this kid had money and influence. The protagonist brushes it off, saying it was nothing special, just a plate he reserved long ago. Still, the seller doesn't like it, suspecting the boy is hiding his connections and thinking he's a fool, though he admits it's impressive he planned ahead. Then a worker in a twisted stance calls for the protagonist, announcing everything is ready, while the boss is left wondering who this kid really is and which family he belongs to. A few minutes later, Jo arrives, thanking the boy for today. Since they met by chance, she's finishing work and suggests dinner. He's about to accept when suddenly a call comes in. It's the green-haired friend, saying he just got dumped, and if the protagonist doesn't come talk to him now, he'll jump into the river and end it all. The protagonist is stunned. Out of nowhere, this crazy guy is calling. Still, he humbles himself with his friend, promising they'll meet later to drink and eat together. For now, he has to help. Jo, a bit embarrassed, says it's fine. She always thought the green-haired guy liked someone named Shuya. Later, the protagonist arrives at the bar and asks if the fool still wants to jump in the river. He tells him to shut up and sit down so they can talk. Then he says, "I realized I'm just a fool, man. Can you believe it?" I feel awful. She always bossed me around, but I thought she liked me. Yet as soon as Luong gave her some attention, she dropped him. The protagonist asks him to explain, and he says he followed the two and saw them making out, doing things that shattered his heart. My God, nothing left for Beta. The protagonist points out they hadn't even started anything serious, so why did it hurt so much? The guy keeps crying, but the protagonist warns him not to get close. Maybe it's that girl who was already hanging around back in '95. Poor Zhuang might end up catching trouble. Wow, the protagonist really went far with that. The friend presses him to explain, and our boy reveals it seems her life was a complete mess. All he tells his friend is that he got rid of a ticking bomb. The friend nods, grateful for the comfort, and they toast. Later, he's in a taxi, sending a message from the car when suddenly Chen-Li appears. 65 partners already. The artist is aiming to break a record of 1,000 in a single day. The girl insists this is her boyfriend's car, warning him to take his hand off or pay for damages. But when she looks closer, she suddenly falters, claiming she's drunk and that he looks a lot like her boyfriend. Sounds like a seduction tactic. The protagonist pushes back, saying she doesn't look anything like his girlfriend. Wow, this girl is so desperate, it feels like she's plotting to steal his kidney, that's for sure. Out of nowhere, she says she plays PUBG and knows 10 different ways to win. She asks if he wants to play a match with her. The protagonist isn't interested, replying that he prefers Honor of Kings, some other game. Just then, the streamer arrives, asking if he's the one who requested a driver. He says yes. How come capitalism didn't work out for her? She explains she streams, but in her spare time she works as a designated driver, earning extra cash by driving people's cars for them. Right away, she tells her live audience she's impressed. Never imagined she'd stumble upon a Ferrari SF90, stretching out and throwing herself on the hood. Meanwhile, the odd PUBG girl insists she also knows how to drive really well. The protagonist says he doesn't like anything free in life. It usually leads to complications. What he really wants to know is whether the capitalism streamer works hard. Honestly, I felt sorry for her. She explains she once ran an automotive review blog and has driven many sports cars, so he shouldn't worry. This girl is giving everything just to survive. Someone help this poor soul. And that's it, 0 partners in the past, which is sure to drive the protagonist crazy. Name, Qiao Yingyin. Already seated in the car, she asks if she can stream, and the protagonist agrees. But does she really work like this every day? She explains she doesn't always go live, but usually she's driving back and forth anyway. With that, she sets the car to record and starts speeding up. The protagonist notices her live name is Chia and thinks it's impressive she has 0 partners in the past. Anyone watching might assume she was the easy type. He also sees her biggest donor only gave 300, which he finds pathetic. He asks, "You've got over 10,000 viewers and no one donates. Now it makes sense why you have to work and drive. Wouldn't it be easier to just focus on driving since these streams don't pay off?" Then he roasts the poor girl, saying, "You're broke, not making money at all. A failure as a woman, not even using your looks to earn cash. What can you do?" She admits she's not good at getting donations. I'd say she's exposing everything she has at stake, but fine. Apparently, she attracted a weak audience with little money. They speed up, arrive home, and she hands back the keys. The boy tells her she really is skilled at driving. Everything feels calm, and she thanks him, asking for a good review. Then she wants to know what kind of live streams he enjoys watching. He replies that he only watches the wonderful ones, and she asks if she counts as one of those. If so, maybe he could give her a little support to boost her ranking. He says he's not sure if he has enough money in his account. She counters by suggesting he could invite her for a drink. Whoa, wasn't she at 0 and now offering herself like that? Strange. The protagonist realizes she's staging drama in her life, probably hoping he'll pay the bills and donate before disappearing. To him, she's walking like a sheep into the tiger's cage. He asks what kind of water she prefers, and she recalls this feels like a typical conversation from a certain kind of story, imagining odd things. Clearly, he'd be the type to enjoy this video. Kids, that's it. Another spender, just like in the clips that help Reza create more juicy content for his viewers.